Welcome, everybody, to the Ray Shasho Show, brought to you by the Publicity Works Agency. Each week, Ray spotlights in-depth interviews with legendary and up-and-coming authors and music artists. Ray also features the movers and the shakers of the music and publishing industries and suggests important methods for getting the most out of your public relations and marketing needs. Please welcome music journalist, author, and entrepreneur, Ray Shasho.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ray Shasho, and welcome to the show where we spotlight legendary and up-and-coming music artists and authors. Brought to you by the Publicity Works Agency. Call us today at 941-877-1552 or visit www.publicityworksagency.com. We shine only when we make you shine. Our special guest today, multi-platinum selling, Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Geoff Tate, is regarded as one of the most skilled vocalists in the rock genre, with hundreds of modern popular artists citing him and his band as a major influence, combining social consciousness and expertly crafting lyrics with high-energy, melodically complex music. Geoff and his band have become internationally recognized as the thinking man's rock band. In all, Geoff has recorded 12 studio albums, several live albums, and will release his second solo album in 2013. Queensrÿche has been nominated for a Grammy 4 times and has had their music featured in 3 feature films. Since their inception, the band has sold over 25 million albums worldwide and has performed in over 46 countries. The band received worldwide acclaim after the release of their 1988 album, Operation Mindcrime, which is often considered one of the greatest concept albums of all time. Their follow-up release, Empire, included the hit single Silent Lucidity. The song was the biggest hit for the band. It peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and at number 1 on the Billboard Album Rock Tracks chart. Queensrÿche is world-renowned for their innovative and trend-setting sound. While changing the band name to Operation Mindcrime, Geoff began working on one of the most ambitious projects, a 3-part concept album, with the first album recorded early 2015. Geoff says the songs on these records tell a story, and each song is a scene or a chapter. Every scene is different. He added, the words tell the story, the musical bed, the chord progressions and melodies, they set the pace. That's how I envision this album in total, very theatrical and definitely cinematic. The Key by Operation Mindcrime is available to purchase now at Amazon.com. It is my great pleasure today to welcome the legendary voice of Queensrÿche and Operation Mindcrime, Geoff Tate, to the show. Welcome, Geoff.
Wow, that's so long-winded, Ray.
Well, we got to get all your kudos in there, right?
Oh my gosh. You know, that's something I just never get used to, is the horn tooting that you have to do in this business, you know?
Yeah.
I guess, you know, who else is going to toot your horn but yourself?
Well, exactly. You know, especially today, you know, when mainstream radio, the way it is nowadays, you know, doesn't feature anybody that's got any talent anymore. So that's what I'm all about, promoting you guys and making sure you guys are in the mainstream again. You'll be touring again, beginning, I guess, November 13th in Germany, and back to the States around February 3rd in California. Anybody would like to see where this show is going to be appearing at their city near you, go to OperationMindcrime.com for a complete concert listing of show dates. How is Operation Mindcrime's reception in Europe?
I don't know yet. I guess we'll find out when I get there. You know,
right.
We're looking forward to the tour. I know that I love touring, and I haven't toured since last August. Last August was my last show.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to it. The band's really tight. We've been rehearsing for the last couple of weeks and putting all the music together for the tour, and it's I'm excited. I'm ready.
Well, we can't wait to, after your European tour, you come back to the States. And you've been working with some incredible players. Joining you on the key are some hard-hitting cast of familiar faces. Dave Ellefson, John Moyer, Simon Wright, Scott Mercado, Ryan Chichi, and guitarist Kelly Gray, and I believe is it Scott Moten, and Randy Kane, and vocalist Mark Daly. Now, are these guys going to be on tour with you at all, or are these just studio musicians? Oh, they are going to be on tour with you.
Yeah. The touring band for the European leg is going to be Simon on drums and John on bass, and then Randy and myself on keyboards, and who's left? Kelly and Scott Martin on guitars.
Man, that's an all-star cast.
Yeah, it's a good band. It's really a band of guys that are very passionate about the music and passionate about their performance, which I think is very important. When I go see a band live, I want to see that kind of passion, and I want to see expertise and performance,
Right.
So I'm looking forward to the tour. I really am, and very excited about it.
Well, let me tell you, man, your most recent album, The Key, okay? I was totally blown away. It's one of the best albums I've heard in a long time. It's very prog, and I'm a diehard prog rock guy. Especially since I've recently chatted with Steve Hackett, Steve recently, Martin Barr, Billy Sherwood, Patrick Moraz, John Payne. All these guys are prog rock artists. But the album was fantastic, and I'm giving it 5 stars.
Oh, thank you.
It's a tremendous album. It really surprised me, and I'm very glad you went that direction.
Yeah, that's my roots, and Kelly and Randy, they share the prog rock roots as well. We all kind of grew up at the same time period and started playing music together. We started playing music together in 1979. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I know, a long time gone. Huh? Yeah, so that was kind of a conscious decision when we started working on the trilogy album, was that we wanted to lean more towards our roots, in prog rock, and really bring that out and bring it up to the forefront of what we were doing, which I like quite a bit. It's prog rock is a much more open. If you're going to be in a box and have a category and the hated genre attached to you, then prog rock is a really nice place to be, because it's a box that has a lot of windows.
Yes,
a lot of different
does.
avenues. It's not so tightly contained. Like some other genres, like punk rock. God, you couldn't even operate punk rock music. It's so confining. 3 chords. Geez.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what the Sex Pistols were. The album, like I said, it's incredible. Your voice is so different on this album. Like the track choices. I mean, your voice kind of is reminiscent of kind of Bowie, and also kind of Peter Gabriel. I hear Bowie and I hear Genesis in a lot of these tracks.
Oh, yeah, two big influences on me. Both
right.
There's Peter Gabriel and David Bowie. Yeah.
And Reinventing the Future, which if mainstream radio was any good anymore, and they anybody knew what they were doing, they would be playing this song on mainstream radio. It's I saw the video. Everybody needs to see the video. Reinventing the Future. It's a great tune. It really is a great tune.
Well, thank you.
Ready to Fly, also very prog, an awesome tune. There was one track on here that I think was my favorite. You know what? It's On Cue.
Mm-hmm.
On Cue was, that's, if you love prog, that's, right up your alley. And again, I hear Bowie and Gabriel in that song. It is a great song. Did you write all the tunes?
Most of them, yeah. Yeah, I had a hand in them. The only one that I didn't actually write was the first tune on their album Choices. That was one that Kelly had a brainstorm over and wrote just about everything on it, and did a wonderful job on that one. But I started out, last September I'd finished my tour in August, and my wife and I decided we needed a break. We needed a little holiday, so we went to Spain, and we walked the Camino de Santiago Pilgrim Trail across northern Spain, which is about 500 miles. And so we spent the month doing that, and I wrote the story for the key and the trilogy. And I'd been toying around with, the trilogy concept for a while. I wanted to make one, but I just didn't have the subject matter for a long time. And on that walk, on that hike, it came to me, And so when I got home back to Seattle, I started writing and composing for the music for the story. And that's when I brought, Randy and Kelly in and Scott Moughton, and we started talking about, the direction for the songs and what we could do with them. And I already had quite a few examples of the musical pieces that I'd written for the album to show them kind of where I wanted to go with it. And so we used those as models and added to them, and kind of took the album in the direction that you hear. Mm-hmm. And the second album, which we've just completed now, it picks up where the first one left off. And then, but musically, it's quite a bit more adventurous. We kind of, just speaking musically here, we kind of went off into a lot more improvisational sections, kind of extended the arrangements quite a bit, and kind of really made a conscious effort to kind of get away from the kind of classic radio arrangement that you hear on so many songs that I've written over the years. Been really locked into that, that kind of, it's got to get to the chorus in the first 30 seconds. It's got to be an intro, verse, bridge, chorus, solo. It's a whole format of arrangement that you use for radio, because radio used to be so restrictive, on what you could play and what they would, the length of everything, that they have to be a certain length, and, or else they wouldn't play it, so you're constantly editing your song down. Well, now that all those rules are gone, so you can kind of do what you want with your music, which is very refreshing, actually. Quite a refreshing approach.
Yeah. What do you think about the music industry nowadays, as opposed to back in the Queensrÿche days?
Well, this is a book, this conversation. It's the music industry doesn't even resemble what it used to be. It actually, back then, it was an industry. It was a money-making, gigantic machine that employed millions of people around the world. Record companies, the ones that I was always involved with, were major companies, major labels, and they had, thousands of employees. But now a major label has 50 people working for them. So huge difference there. And, the amount of records that you need to sell to get on the charts is, dropped considerably. Just everything about the economy of the music industry is completely different than it used to be, because there is such a lack of economy in regards to the music industry now because of the pirating.
Right.
It's just so prevalent that it just gutted the industry.
You think Napster was kind of responsible for the downfall, or it happened way before that?
No, the individual people that download music illegally are responsible for that.
Right.
It's not one person. It's all of us. We all do it. It's human nature. If you can get something for free, you're gonna get it for free.
Yeah. YouTube blows me away, because people post whole albums on there that were just released. So it's crazy. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say I've heard some comments. I guess people are not used to you splitting up with Queensrÿche, and they're looking for the old music and all that. I want to say to anybody that is a Geoff Tate hater, anyone who does not like this album knows nothing about music. I want to get that out there, because this album
Ray,
is fantastic.
That's like fighting words, man.
It is fighting words, man. I get mad at people when they get mad at artists because they don't want to play the same old crap from 30 years ago. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're expanding your musical horizons, and you've always have, really. throughout the years?
I think what you're talking about is, again, kind of coming back to human nature. People perceive music differently. There is no one way to perceive it. There is no good or bad when it comes to music. It's all subjective. It's all personal choice, which is based upon the individual and what kind of musical experience that individual's had, what kind of lifestyle they've led, how many records they've listened to over the years from different kinds of artists, what's their background, So you can't write a song for somebody. You can't with that in mind, because there's no way of gauging what that person likes or doesn't like. Mm-hmm. I love it. I feel very flattered that somebody might have connected to one of my songs over the years. Absolutely love that. And I love hearing the stories that people tell me about the first time they heard the song, or where they were when they heard the song, or a funny story of what happened while they were listening to that song. But God, there's millions of those, and I love hearing that stuff. But, I don't know any artist that writes a song for their audience.
Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't work that way. You would never write a song, It has to come from inside you as a writer. You write because you're moved by an experience, and the way you describe that experience is musically. That's your medium that you work in,
Right.
So there's a lot of misconceptions about music. And, it's a good thing that we live in the time we do now, the communication age, because we can discuss this stuff so openly and so rapidly. We can talk about the fact that when somebody says, that song sucks, well, when somebody says something like that, you can tell they're an idiot. And what I mean by that is they're uneducated.
Right.
They don't know that musical opinion is all subjective. What they mean to say is, I don't relate to that music. It doesn't touch me. It's not that the song is bad or the song is good. It's just that song didn't make an impact on that individual because they couldn't connect to the melody. They couldn't connect to what the words were saying. They couldn't connect to the rhythm. I mean, there's a bazillion different reasons why they connect or don't connect to a song,
And even if you don't connect the first time, you need to listen to it a few times before you make a judgment like that, because your opinion does change the more you listen to it.
Oh, yeah. Some music you hear and immediately you respond to it because it speaks to something inside you that you've experienced before.
Right.
It describes or gives you the feeling of a situation you've been in. Other songs and other music grow on you over time. Mm-hmm. You learn to appreciate it because you're hearing new things and different things that perhaps you've never heard before.
Exactly.
I mean, the goal, musically, especially for people like me who are involved in the progressive rock style of playing and writing, is we're always looking for different ways to express musically what we're talking about. We're looking for different instruments to express it on. We're looking for different modes to use. We're looking for different scales to experiment with to find the melody that we've got floating around in our heads, So it's the nature of the thing is to progress and to try different things, not to remain the same at all,
Exactly. There's so many artists now that are happy that they are kind of reinventing themselves. I talked to John Mayall. He's got a young band that he performs with now. He's more happier than he's ever been. I just talked to Martin Barr, Jethro Tull fame. He's got a new band that he's extremely happy with and redefining himself now, trying to get away from the Tull sound. There's so many people like that out now that are more happier, that they're away from the legendary band, brand, and doing their own thing nowadays.
Yeah, well, and that's great. I applaud anybody that is on their own journey to self-exploration, and most musicians, most songwriters are of that nature. They maybe have success or have recognition doing something in one way, that it doesn't mean that that's the sum of that person. It just means that that's something that connected with people for a number of different reasons. I mean, people say, Operation Mindcrime, wow, what a concept record, one of the most highly, regarded concept records there is. Well, yeah, it was shoved down people's throats, You know,
Mm-hmm.
EMI, a record company, had millions and millions of dollars to promote that record. You know, nowadays record companies have a budget of what, $2,300 to promote your record.
Oh my God!
As opposed to $23,000 a week. You know, like it used to be.
Right.
Doing that, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a different world. But, you know, you learn to operate in a different world, and you find joy in what you do, you know, not by success or by other people's definition of success, but by your own. And that's by accomplishment, you know, of getting the job done or creating an album or going on tour and playing the best you can. And, you know, that's a major accomplishment right there.
Sure. You chose to, I'm going to go back to Queensrÿche just for a second. You chose to sell your interest in Queensrÿche. So you would be the only one to perform Operation Mindcrime and Operation Mindcrime 2 in their entirety. And I guess you can refer to yourself as the original lead singer of Queensrÿche. Do you think this was a great move for you? You made the deal that you made? It sounds like it.
I do. I think it's a fair, you know, settlement, which is what I wanted from the beginning. You know, I mean, I just wanted to get, you know, the deal struck. I mean, when people, you know, start talking about bands breaking up or that kind of, you have to remember, this is not just a band. It's a business. It's a corporation with rules and regulations that that govern it, that have laws attached to it, and the laws have to be carried out in a certain way, you know. And so that's what happened, but it just took a long time, you know, like I guess court cases always do. But anyway, yeah, the settlement's good for me. I'm happy and moving ahead, and very excited about what I'm doing now.
Now,
I always thought it was Martin Barre. It's Bar, huh?
Martin Barre, yep. Barre sounds cool, though.
Yeah. I always thought it had an accent mark over it. Maybe I was just mentally attaching that.
Now, Silent Lucidity was written by Chris DeGarmo, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because Chris is not in the band, is that another reason why you can go ahead and play that in concert, or?
No. There's no limitations on what I can play.
Oh, good. That's great. Yeah, so it was a good move for everybody, I guess. It was all right.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
We all want to see Geoff Tate. We don't want to see the other guys.
Hey, those are fighting words, Ray.
Hey, those are fighting. I know. Did you try to get Chris back in the band? I know he's a pilot or something, isn't he? Now.
I don't know what he's doing though. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years.
Yeah, I looked it up. He's a pilot. He's some kind of jet airline pilot or something like that. Yeah,
that's a strange turn of events. Huh?
I know. Him and I guess his son or something like that is doing it together, making money doing it. We're going to break here in a little bit. I got one last question for you before the break. This is a question I ask everybody, and I get some very interesting answers. I've asked this question to everyone I've interviewed. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, you know, like the movie Field of Dreams, to perform or collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Is that if you build it, they will come?
Yeah.
Isn't that movie?
Somebody that you would really like to play with, or sing with, or just
Kevin Costner. Is that's the movie, right?
Yeah, Kevin Costner, right?
Oh, okay. Oh gosh. You know, I'm a collaborator. I like to work with people, and I like to work with anybody who is a good player and who can speak music and can communicate their ideas well.
Right.
You know, you'd be surprised how many guys or girls, musicians, don't speak music. They don't speak in terms of bars or beats, tempo, or keys. You know, what key you're in. They just kind of play by feel and kind of hack their way through it. And I can work with people like that, although it's time consuming and frustrating because you have to kind of decipher what it is they're meaning when if they're even using descriptive terms. But I prefer to work with people who can speak my language, you know, and that have creative ideas and are motivated to express themselves themselves creatively. Another thing you'd be surprised at is there's a lot of people that don't have any ideas at all. They're just,
right.
They're guys that can play really well, and you
right.
just tell them what you want, you know. As far as like celebrity people that are known musicians.
Yeah, known musicians from the past or present. I mean, they can be already passed away.
Well, I'd love to work with composers, mostly people that are songwriters.
Right.
Somebody like Miles Davis would have been really interesting, because he had a real interesting outlook on music. And I'm not talking about style necessarily, but I'm talking about the actual construction of it, of chord arrangements and chord progressions, and how melody works over that progression. He had a real unique perspective. Duke Ellington, another incredible arranger and composer. I would have liked to work with the Beatles at some point to see kind of how they worked. They seem like they kind of worked intuitively, and then learned as they went along, because they worked with George Martin, who was more of a trained classical musician. You know, he would be an interesting guy to work with too.
Yeah, he would.
I'm naming off a lot of people, aren't I?
No, you're good.
I'm pretty open to working with a lot of people, really. I guess that's what I should say.
How about on the progressive rock side? I mean, what guy just sticks out on your mind that, you know?
Well, I had a wonderful opportunity to present a progressive rock vocal award to John Anderson from Yes a while back.
Yeah.
And I had never met him, and I'm a huge fan of his work.
Yep.
And I ended up cornering him in the dressing room, talking about specific albums that are classics with me, and discussing, you know, how did you write this? You know, how did this work? What were you thinking? Where was your head when you were coming up with that progression? You know, and Tales from Topographic Oceans. You know, it's so out there and unique. Never heard anything like it. Did it come from a certain type of music that you were listening to at the time and were influenced? You know, was it gamelan music mixed with, you know, some sort of classical progression that led you to that? You know, we were having this massive conversation, and I would love to work with him, because he's very descriptive in how he communicates musically.
Yeah.
I really
Jeff, we got a break here.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry.
We're going to go ahead and break here. We're talking to Geoff Tate from Operation Mindcrime, and from Queensrÿche, and we're going to break here, play a little music, and we'll be right back. We are back with Geoff Tate, legendary lead singer of Queensrÿche, and his new ensemble, Operation Mindcrime, with the brand new, well, not so new, but pretty new album, The Key, which is going to be a 5-star, and if anybody listens to this, you are going to be blown away. It's got a lot of progressive rock music on it, and it's a great album, and I recommend everybody go out immediately and order this from Amazon.com. It is fantastic. You know what, Jeff? Me and you are exactly 13 days apart in our age.
What was that? Are you born in January?
Yeah, January 27, 1959, and you were the 14th, right?
14th of January, yeah.
That is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, and you're older.
I just realized, on my last birthday, I thought that I was a year older than I actually was.
Really?
And I was kind of, I guess I lost track of time, and I just figured I was like 57, you know, and then my kids reminded me, no, you're only 56, you know, but I had been thinking that I was 57 for like a year.
Huh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens when you get older.
I also found out I wasn't as tall as I thought I was. Isn't that
well,
strange?
let me tell you from experience and following, I guess, timelining your life with my life, I can do that easily. what you were doing back in '83, what I was doing back in '83, that kind of thing. But you are still a young man, and you got a lot more rock and roll to play, and we certainly need that.
I feel pretty young, although I'm pushing 60. So
right.
I feel pretty young and vibrant, and just losing a little bit of the memory, I think.
Yeah, that happens. It happens with the short-term memory, more or less.
Yeah.
I wrote a book about growing up in the family business, which I did in the early 60s through 70s, 80s, 90s, or whatever. But I was perfect as far as my memory, thinking back when I was a kid. But if you ask me, what I did yesterday, it's like a struggle, and I think that's what goes first is your short-term memory.
Yeah, like I can remember, things from, grade school much better than I can remember yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. Weird.
It's kind of weird how the brain works. You play.
It's one of the indignities of aging.
Yeah, that in your eyes. I can't. I had 20/20 vision forever, and then I think it was just a couple of years ago where I can't see anything close up anymore. It just went.
Oh, but what about that weird hair that grows out of your ears and
Yeah, I don't like the ear thing. I hate the ear thing. Long hair growing out of your ears, that really bugs the hell out of me.
Why does that have to happen,
I know. What are we, gorillas? It doesn't need to happen,
Primates.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of stuff I don't like, That in your nose, you get the long hair on your nose, and then it itches you, and then you got to go up in there and find it and get rid of it.
And why doesn't anybody tell you about it? They must see it. You're standing there talking with them,
Yeah.
Of course, I guess nobody wants to be that guy that says that, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, by the way, you got a nose here that's, past your lip there.
Really? Dragging on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Now, all right, let's talk about hair. I mean, you had a beautiful head of hair. Did you just
emphasize had?
Well, what'd you do? Did you shave it off or what?
I shaved it off. I had a friend of ours came down with cancer, and so all her friends and family shaved their heads.
Oh, that's nice.
Some moral courage and support, and then
right.
It was just actually kind of fun to have my head shaved. I kind of enjoyed it, so I just kept it.
So you enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah. So now I kind of started growing the top out again.
Right.
So I'm kind of growing some sort of, I guess they call it a mohawk or a faux hawk or something like that. I'm going to do something. I've got a kind of a weird new hairstyle for the upcoming tour.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure we'll spark some controversy on the internet.
Of course. It's like everybody on the internet is watching what you do.
Yeah. And they're all hairstylists apparently, and
apparently, yeah.
Have some commentary about that.
Yeah, you get more commentary than I, which is good. It's publicity. It's all good publicity. Your name will never fade out. You're always around.
True, I guess. Was it Gene Simmons that said any news is good news, any controversy is good press?
Exactly.
Good press.
That's what they say. I'd rather have good press than bad press, but I'm a guy. Everybody tells me I'm too good with the artists that. Because it's what I love to do, and you guys are all my heroes. I love music, and I knew a lot of stuff that I could report on that other people don't know. That's bad stuff, but I never do because I will never do that. I'm not I'm not the National Enquirer, so I can't do it. Even if it means for money, I won't do it because I'm here to help the genre, help rock and roll, prog, jazz, the blues. I want to keep that going. Somebody's got to do it.
When they say that you're too easy on the artist, what is that? What are they getting at? Do they want you to chastise them?
Probably,
bring out their insecurities. Do a psychoanalysis on them, or what?
Well, like Rolling Stone magazine will never give 5 stars for an album. That's like unheard of for them. And if you do that, they will fire you. Is what I heard. And
here's my thought about that. Rolling Stone won't give a 5-star review of any album. Why should we care what they think?
Yeah, true.
Why should anybody care? Let me ask you this. Are any of the people reviewing albums musicians? Have any of them ever written a song? Have any of them ever produced an album? have any of them ever made a living making music?
Right.
What's their basis for judgment?
Yep. I agree with you. They're just like movie critics, pretty much, They listen to it, and, so, some of these guys don't even listen to the whole album. They'll just pick bits and pieces and make a judgment on it.
Well,
I can honestly say...
is there anybody that disagrees that music is an art form?
Yeah.
I think we can all pretty much agree on that. Well, art, by its very nature, is subjective.
Right.
I mean, it's all based around your opinion. So art is neither good nor bad. Art is just art.
Right.
If you can't say, as an intelligent person, that sucks, because that doesn't say anything.
Right.
It says volumes about who you are. It means you're uneducated.
Right.
So, the thing to say would be, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't move me. That's a more correct description of what you're trying to say.
Right. Oh, I agree.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Well, I hate...
What do you want to talk about, Ray?
I hate Rolling Stone. I always have. I mean, they were good maybe the late 60s, early 70s, and when they went political, I said, this is crap. Music isn't about politics. I don't want to hear about politics. Music is about escaping from reality, And that's why I hate when movie stars come out or whoever, musicians come out, and they start talking politics. I don't like that.
I don't. I agree. I disagree with you there. I think art is there to use as a commentary.
Really?
It's there to discuss what's going on in the world and to give an opinion about something.
Right.
It's not. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. But then again, it's about how do you present that idea.
Right.
Where's the art in the art?
Right.
Yeah. Political opinions in art can turn some people off. So what?
Yeah. Well, no. Political opinions in art is okay, but when the artist comes out and endorses a president or starts talking about the other side, that's where I draw the line. Because the '60s was all about talking about Vietnam and politics. I'm all for that. I agree with that. They just shouldn't come out and say, I'm endorsing, so and so, and I hate the other guy. That's where I draw the line, because it's.
Why would you draw the line there? I mean, why would that make a difference to you?
Well, first of all, it'll turn me off if he's saying something
that you disagree with.
I disagree. Well, that he's endorsing the other guy and bashes the guy that I like. That would turn me off. I wouldn't like that. I just think he should be quiet and do his thing musically.
Go into the voting booth and vote for a candidate and not talk about it in public.
Yeah, I agree. Johnny Carson had that same philosophy. He didn't endorse anybody. He didn't want to talk about anything like that, because he was about entertainment. It's about entertainment and making you feel good.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. Yeah.
I got through high school with listening to music. That's what got me through high school.
Yeah. So you look at music as entertainment, and you want to be entertained.
Well, it's more than entertainment. It was a religion. It's more of a religion.
You don't want it, but you don't want it to challenge your opinion. You want it to agree with you.
I don't want it necessarily to agree with me. I just don't want them to come out and start boasting about, I support this candidate.
What makes it boasting?
Well, if he came out and on TV, here's a good example: Bruce Springsteen. I don't agree with any of his politics at all. If he would just play his music, if he put his message in his music, that's fine. But when he comes out and starts bashing the other side politically, that's where I draw the line. I don't think anybody should do that. Keep it to yourself.
Well, I guess it depends on your definition of bashing.
Right.
To state the other candidate's position and then say, well, I disagree with this. I think this is a negative way of doing something. Isn't bashing it. It's just being in disagreement with it.
Right. I don't know. That's just my feelings. That's
cool.
I just think musicians should not come out and publicly endorse candidates. I just think music is like I said, I think music is more of a religion. I mean, we take the fans take it very, very serious. It gets through it gets them through very tough times in life, and you know, I don't know. That's just my feeling on it. That's all. Why I don't think I've ever heard you come out and say anything politically. Have you?
Oh, I have, yeah, and I've disagreed with certain administrations.
Right.
I'm not a George W. Bush fan at all.
Right.
I think he was pretty much a failure at his presidency, and I'm not. But I don't really, I don't talk about it much in public. Yeah, unless somebody asks me my opinion about it directly in an interview, I don't bring it up. Yeah.
Right. Well, like Ted Nugent. The exception is George W. Bush. Right.
I was so disappointed in his presidency, and I guess I'll go on the record as saying if Trump is elected by the American people as president, I don't know what's going to happen to the country. I think it's going to be a fateful day, but just my opinion, just one guy's opinion.
Right. Right. And then there's the extremists like Ted Nugent, who doesn't care what he says. He's going to say it no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important for people to talk about this stuff.
Right.
It's the fate of our country. It's the direction we're going in.
Right.
I'm not one to be a fearmonger, but I have to say and comment based upon the fact that I've traveled in 56 countries around the world. I've been some places and I've seen some things. The lies that politicians tell us in regards to how great America is it's not true. America is failing right now in comparison to the rest of the world in a lot of areas, and I think it's time for everybody to maybe take a harder look at what's really going on and get off the whole beating their chest nationalistic viewpoint about things, and really look at ourselves a little critically and say, hey, we can do better, especially in the education area.
Right.
My God, our education is abysmal in this country.
Yeah.
I've
got a daughter that's a teacher. Yeah, my daughter.
We're losing jobs, to overseas places right and left because we can't compete. We just can't compete, So, I don't know. I think those things need to be talked about, and the discussion and dialogue is important to American culture, and people shouldn't be afraid to speak their opinion,
right?
Because of people chastising them about it. The thing with celebrities is that right from the get-go, a lot of people are put off by celebrities because of why. Why do you think?
They're put off by celebrities?
Yeah.
Why? Because they have more money than they do? I don't know.
That's one point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it stems from jealousy.
Oh, okay.
And it's not just celebrities. It's people that are doing well. So there's a lot of people that are jealous of another person's intelligence, their their better position in life as they perceive it. That kind of thing. And so immediately they start criticizing the other person because of their success. But don't we want people to be successful?
Of course.
Isn't that the whole aim of American culture?
Yeah.
Success. Monetary gain. Win, win, win. We're a competitive society, one of the most competitive societies.
Well, it's supposed to be like that, but the United States has turned into kind of a monopoly, hasn't it? I mean, the small business guys are no longer really around unless they're on the Internet. Everybody's buying out each other.
Well, that's the nature of the beast. That's what we invented with the capitalistic society.
Yeah,
expected. You can't invent this society and say, hey, everybody's able to make money here, and let's compete, and then complain because somebody beat you.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's true. It seems like the big boys are in charge everywhere.
Always, yeah. That's the nature of the beast. Yeah.
I was a small business owner for years, retail electronics, since my dad opened the business in D.C. It's like late 50s. We had like the first transistor radio, the first CD player, the first, the video, first everything in D.C. And, it was a good business, and there was lots of those businesses. back then, but they're all gone now because, you know, people like Best Buy and Walmart, that's it. And all the big boys.
Well,
so I'm not for the little guy.
Everybody out.
Not for the little guy.
Yeah, I am too. I think that people, you know, in small business should be given certain tax incentives to propel their business and give them some sort of, you know, leg up to compete.
Sure.
You know? But inevitably, you know, what would you do? You know, work your fingers to the bone, you know, keeping your business small and in your hands, or would you sell out to a big corporation because they offered you the big dollars? You know, you could be kicking it in Hawaii or South America for the rest of your life, living on the beach. You know,
right? Yeah, or do you want to expand and see what that develops? You know, that could be a good decision, could be a bad decision. You know?
Yeah. Well, this is all very interesting rock and roll music talk, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Well, you know, I had the same conversation with Ian Anderson. Believe it or not, you know, back in the day, me and you couldn't have talked about this. You know, back in like the 60s and 70s, I probably couldn't even talk to you back then because you would have been, you know, so busy, number one. But, you know, rock stars didn't want to talk about religion. They didn't want to talk about politics too much, you know. Certain ones did. But
well, you know, Ray, let me just clarify something. You know? Yeah, I am not a rock star.
Okay.
I'm a musician. To me, in my generation, rock star was a derogatory term. That was somebody who really didn't have any kind of music talent, but they were a personality, you know, a bigger-than-life personality and talked a lot. That was a rock star, you know. So I actually kind of cringe a little bit when people call me that.
Huh. They don't know what else to call you, I guess. Entertainer? Artist? Music artist?
I've heard some alternatives.
Yeah. So have I, but, you know, we won't go there. I like the music artist thing, you know. I think a music artist kind of covers it.
Or the old school term, musician. How about
musician, yeah. But you're more than a musician, kind of. I don't know. You're the next level musician, in a way. But you know what? Martin Barr says the same thing. He sounds just like you. He says, I just want to be called a musician. I'm not anything more or anything less. I just want to hang around with fellow musicians. So you guys are getting really humble as you get older.
That's always been my take.
You're always that way?
Yeah, that's always been my take.
Huh.
You know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I got to talk about the Bible, the Quran, UFOs, all kinds of stuff with Ian Anderson. That was kind of neat.
Did he talk about salmon?
Yeah, well, I guess he got rid of his business. But, we talked about it a little bit, yeah. He did sell it. He was getting too much pressure from the, I don't know, the EPA or whoever regulates that stuff. He couldn't make them anymore.
Yeah, though I imagine, you know, that's a massive responsibility raising food for the population.
Yeah, exactly.
And having,
I guess he was good at it, though.
Having to farm it and inoculate it with growth hormones. And that, not that Ian Anderson did that with his farm-raised salmon and all, but I'm just saying that in those kind of situations, that's a lot of responsibility and a lot of things a lot of hoops you have to jump through. You know?
Exactly. But he's doing well. He's got this opera, kind of a rock opera going on now on tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that. I'm a pretty big Jethro Tull fan. We've actually toured with them years ago.
Oh.
I had a major epiphany for a while with their album Minstrel in the Gallery. I think they came out in the 70s.
Right.
I listened to that album religiously
Yep.
every day when I was in school. Fantastic record.
Yeah, we were probably going to be in high school together, me and you. Yeah. When'd you graduate? Like 77?
Yeah, 77.
Yeah. We would have been in the same. We would have been hanging out together, probably in the back of the school in the Holton fence, in between periods.
I don't know. I was down at the disco. You know, discoing down.
Well, that came later. That came a little later. I did go to discos. I hate to say it, but yeah, that's where the girls were. So.
Yeah, had my platform shoes and my baggy pants with the cuffs and.
Yeah.
Looking fly.
Did you have the chains coming down with your shirt open?
You know, I've always been more into ties.
Oh, okay.
I think I was into neckties then.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I was a disc jockey on Top 40 radio back in the late 70s, and back then it was a mixture of new wave, like stuff like the Cars, Blondie, and everything. I was playing on the air, and then of course Donna Summer was huge. But I played the first rap song that made it commercially, which was "Rapper's Delight" by the Sugar Hill Gang, and that was way back in '79. That's how old rap music is.
Was that before Blondie?
Well, you know what, what you're talking about? What, Rapture?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about the same time. There's some discussion about who had the first. I mean, I can argue that Aerosmith's "Walk This Way" was a rap song, one of the first rap songs. Kind of was.
No, there's actually melody involved with that.
But the lyrics are very, very similar.
Yeah, well, a similar kind of delivery, with the rhythm, but there's actually a melody involved.
Right.
Steven Tyler singing. He's a great singer.
Yep.
As Ian Anderson, what a great singer he is still at his age. He must be in his 70s now, huh?
Right. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think you were talking when we were talking earlier about John Anderson, right? Didn't you mention John Anderson from Yes?
Yeah, John Anderson.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
Me too.
And Chris Spar, one of my favorite bass players. He just passed away this year.
Yeah, it's a shame. I just talked to Steve Hackett, and they were really good friends, and they made an album together.
Mm-hmm.
That was a shocker, wasn't it? How fast he went.
Yeah, I guess that can happen. I'm
I know.
I'm a huge Steve Hackett fan too.
Mhm.
Yeah, he when he was with Genesis, his style of playing really got to me. It was he had kind of a unique way of guitar voicings that were pretty unique, I thought.
Yes.
Very inspirational. He had a nice solo album called Voyage of the Acolyte that I in my collection that I played quite a bit.
His latest solo album is called Wolflight, which is very, very good album. And
I think he's on the same record company as I am, I think.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And they just reissued GTR. They reissued the GTR album when he was with Steve Howe. Yeah.
Another one of my favorite guitar players.
Yeah, I know. Those guys are great. All my heroes. Now you've got. Do you have 4 daughters?
I have 4 daughters. 4 daughters and a foster daughter, so 5.
And a foster daughter, and you also have a grandchild.
I have 3 grandchildren.
Wow, you're beating me. I got 1.
I have 3 grandchildren and 1 on the way. Yeah.
And 1 on the way. Congratulations. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And they all live, right near me and my wife, so we're, we're in constant grandchildren mode.
Good. I bet your wife is happy about that, man.
Oh, we both are. It's a weird thing when you start calling yourself grandpa.
I know.
Because when it first happened to me, I wasn't really thinking about it or prepared for it, right? And because I had my own vision of grandpa, my grandpa, that I remember was a guy that he was kind of out there, his own world, kind of walking around, out in the garden wearing black dress socks and sandals, and big Hawaiian shirts, smoking a cigar, talking to himself, and that wasn't me, and that's not who I am, but that's what grandpa means to me, so I had a hard time with the word, grandpa or grandfather for a while.
Yeah, you definitely don't have the appearance. You don't have the appearance as a grandpa. Neither do I. Yeah. I never thought it would be, this early in my life, But, grandpas are much younger now, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we are, Like when my wife and I have one of the grandkids with us and we're out running errands or at a store or something, people don't think of us as the grandparents. They just think maybe we're a little older couple that started late,
right.
kids,
Right.
Yeah, because they always, you're your son, he looks so much like you.
That's funny.
No, really.
But you know what? I love it. It's the best thing that's ever happened. You know, we babysit once a week, and it's absolutely a pleasure. You know, and you know, all you do is boast about them.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, hey, they use the toilet for the first time by themselves.
Oh, so good. Yeah, that's a great thing. Yeah.
They stop pissing all over the wall. Oh, that's great. You know, milestone.
That's funny. That's funny. Now your daughter, doesn't your daughters sing backup for you or something?
They have, yeah. I have two daughters that like to sing. They're not like interested in becoming, you know, professional musicians, but they
really?
like to sing, and so they've. I'll get them, you know, out in the studio if I'm working on a song. Hey, can you sing this part right here? Here's how it goes, and you know, we'll work for a couple hours and do a vocal part, you know. And so they have appeared on albums. My youngest daughter, Emily, she did when she was about 8, I think, or 9. She sang a lead vocal on one of my songs.
Really?
On the American Soldier album. I guess that was 2009, something like that. Yeah. So she had her first you know, real event by doing the lead vocal, and she was very.
That's pretty cool.
About it. Did a good job.
Yeah, that's awesome. You should be very proud. You know.
I am. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm proud of all my kids. They all seem pretty happy, and
right.
I think if you can do one thing as a parent, and that's raise kids that have the ability to be happy, then I think you're successful at it. You know? Yeah,
I mean, really, your life is complete. You know, I think that's one of the main reasons why we're on this planet. You know, is to reproduce and, you know, make sure everyone's fine and they carry on. You know, carry on the tradition.
I just had to, you know, tell them that raising daughters is a real different kind of thing. You know,
right.
For a man, I think. You know,
yep.
You know, you have a built-in opinion about women and a built-in sort of way of dealing with women, which is based upon how you were raised and your mother, you know. But when you grow up and become a man, your interactions with women are based on that.
Right.
So, but when you have a daughter, all of a sudden everything switches around in your head.
Yeah.
And you become incredibly protective.
I know.
Of that daughter. And then, you know, when they grow up and they start dating, you're even more protective, you know, because you know what boys are like, you know what men are like, you know. And so I've tried to teach my girls about that as they've grown up. And, you know, my wife and I always had this rule that if they were going to go dating with somebody, that they had to bring the boy home to have dinner with the entire family first before they were allowed to go on a date. And so just that weeds out all the really questionable types, you know. Not too many scoundrels will have the sack to come and sit at the table with the entire family. So you know that the boy that does accept and does come home for dinner is a little bit more serious. You know, one about the girl or one about he's curious about the situation or whatever, but you know that he's got some game, right?
Exactly.
So I always set him down at the end of the table and I don't talk to him. I just stare at him, you know, and then I show him my gun collection.
Of course.
You know? Yeah. Just every possible intimidation, you know, practice that I could think of. And then, of course, all the older daughters, if it's the younger daughter or whoever is bringing the boy over, then they talk about the ex-boyfriend of the daughter in front of the new boyfriend and try to humiliate him, you know.
Yeah.
They talk about his penis size, you know, things like that.
Really? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's just any boy that can get through a dinner at the Tate House is a pretty exceptional character.
That's funny. That's funny. And you know, I've had one daughter, so I know a little bit about what you're talking about. But having all those daughters, that's quite a thing to do. I'm telling you, you've got plenty of practice at it.
It's always there's always something going on.
Always something going on, exactly. That's interesting. You need to write a book about that. How to raise a daughter. How to raise many daughters. Jeff, do you have anything else?
I have to say, it definitely isn't even 50% me. My wife is really the best parent of the two of us. I'm completely self-absorbed. You know.
Yeah, is she a little bit more lenient than you are with your daughters?
Oh no. I'm the more lenient one.
Really? Oh wow.
She's the rock. She's the one that has to be the disciplinarian.
Right.
I just cave in. You know. Hey, Dad, can you buy me a car? Oh, okay.
Yeah. You just try to act.
Hey, I want to go to the most expensive college in the United States. Okay.
Okay. Well, you know, girls have a way with their dads. That's that's bonding. There is I don't think the wise will understand that special bonding between dad and daughter. You know, there is something.
Yeah, I don't
thing with
even
the son
understand
and a mom. You know, the son and the mom is always kind of close like that too.
Yeah, it's strange how that works, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's I can't even imagine having one daughter. That would be, that would be a dynamic that would be interesting. But having 5, gosh, I just kind of cover my head and hope I don't get hurt. No.
Well, let me tell you, you've done very, very good, very well taking care of them because it's hard being a musician and having 5 daughters and being on the road and and make sure you have the time to help them out and grow up and everything. So I give you a lot of credit.
It's tough to balance that because there's like one of my daughters. For some reason, my touring schedule always is while she's having a birthday, so I'm never home for her birthday. And so I always have to make special arrangements or celebrate her birthday with Dad home, week before, something like that, because it always turns out that her birthday is I'm gone.
Yeah.
So strange.
Well, like you said, you can make it up.
But as a kid, if you don't have anything else to compare it to, so that's normal, for you.
Yeah. You can always make another day that's a special day with her, that kind of thing. They appreciate that. They always appreciate that. Jeff, do you have anything else you'd like to promote?
Well, not anything personally, I think we talked about the tour and we talked about the tour and the album.
The tour and the album for right now. Yep.
Yeah. I think
fantastic array of musicians.
I think I'm all promoted out, Ray.
You're all promoted out? Well, I want to say, man, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being on the show today. It's been great talking to you. Thank you for all the great music you've given us and all the music you're going to be bringing us from this point on with Operation Mindcrime. We'll check in with you from time to time, see how you're doing.
Okay, great.
Okay, and everybody needs to buy The Key because it's a fantastic album. And anybody that is a progressive rock lover is especially going to love the album. It is very well produced, and it's just a great album. Every track is wonderful. So everybody get out there and buy the album.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Ray, for the interview.
Thank you, Jeff.
And the nice chat. And talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, my best to the family, okay?
All right, you too. Take care.
All right, bye-bye. Be sure to purchase the amazing CD by Geoff Tate's band Operation Mindcrime entitled The Key, available to purchase now on Amazon.com, and visit the official website of Geoff Tate and Operation Mindcrime to see when the band will be touring out of town near you at www.geofftate.com and www.operationmindcrime.com. Join me bi-weekly, Mondays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern on The Ray Shasho Show. Coming up soon, the legendary singer, songwriter, musician, top 40 hitmaker, and author Tommy James of the Shondells. Very special thanks to the great Jeff Albright of Rockstar PR for hooking us up today with Geoff Tate. The Albright Entertainment Group, www.rockstarpr.com. If you have comments or suggestions or would like to be a guest on the Ray Shasho Show, call 941-877-1552 or email us at ray@publicityworksagency.com. Have a great week, everybody.
you for listening to the Ray Shasho Show, brought to you by the Publicity Works Agency. Call 941-877-1552 or visit us at publicityworksagency.com, specializing in author and music artist publicity plans. We shine when we make you shine. Join Ray Shasho every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern on BBS Radio, Station 1.